tutorial on how to use SketchUp for schools. So first of all, I want to click on this drop down arrow. I'm going to make sure we're in millimeters, and then I'm going to click on create new. It just takes a few seconds to load. Okay, and then when we first come in, you'll see this surround. So make sure the arrow is selected. You can pick this man by drawing a box around him and then pressing the delete key. Get rid of him, we don't need him. A couple of things. First is this is like your drawing toolbar over here, and over here is like the help and the component information bar. So I'm using a mouse, which makes life a little bit easier. So first of all, we want to look for a rectangle. So click rectangle, we want this rectangle, and then you just click and drag to draw your rectangle. And down in the bottom right hand side, you'll see the dimensions. So I'm just going to draw one out quite big. And then if I don't click anywhere else, once I let go, I can just type and change my dimensions. So if I change the dimensions, this rectangle to be 80, 80, and press enter. See, it's made my rectangle 80 by 80 millimeters. It's really small. So if I put my mouse over it and zoom in, I can zoom in on my rectangle. Now you've got the orbit tool here, which you can click on and select. You can orbit around, zoom out a little bit. If you've got a mouse, you can press the wheel in and you get orbit tool automatically. Right, so I'm going to make the base first, because basically it's the same for everyone, and the tape measure is going to be my friend. So click on the tape measure, and then from the corner I want to measure along 30 millimeters. You can see the measurement coming up there in the bottom right corner, and then click, and it leaves me a tiny little point. Now I'm going to draw my a rectangle in, which is going to be the joint of my faces. So I'm just going to pick it, make sure it's on the face, click, and then I want that to be 20 millimeters by the thickness that I'm going to use, which is 5 mil. Enter. It gives me a rectangle like so. I'm going to repeat that 4 times. So pick my tape measure tool again, click over here, click on it, click on the corner, go up 30 millimeters, and then got my notch, and then I'm going to draw my rectangle. I want that to be 20 by 5, and then I want to do another one 30 millimeters along. Click in, find that notch, so you can see it says guide point. Bring my rectangle out, 5 millimeters, and last one, near him down, 30 millimeters. Yep, click, rectangle, and then there we go, 20,5. Now I've got my base, which has got the joints lined up. Now I need to raise the bits where the parts are going to slot in, because if I try and lift this thing up now, it'll pick that, but it will leave these other squares in place, which will be a problem later. So the second one down is the eraser tool. Click that, and you hold your left mouse button and just swipe over, and see the line goes blue, let go, and it'll delete it. So hold the mouse button down, over, delete, mouse down, swipe over and delete, swipe over and delete. Okay, then I want to lift up my base, so I click on this one, and I want this one, which is the push and pull tool. Come over, I get the dots on the base. So I'll lift that up to the desired thickness. So I'm going to stick to 5 mil for this. Okay, and let go. If I wanted it to be higher, I just type like I did before. Go to 12, or I can type again, get that down to 5. So there is my base. Now I've made my base. I'm going to click back on the arrow, and I'm going to click on it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. You see it picks the whole thing. And then I want to right click on it, and I want to make it a component. And I'm going to call this component the base. Press OK, and let's just turn that into my base piece. And now it's a component. I can copy it, I can paste it, I can use it multiple times. So that's where we're at. And now I'm going to break off into the 2 other videos if you want to construct it in place, or if you want to construct the other faces and then bring them in and join them onto this. So I'll join you on the other video soon. Okay, hello, welcome back. This is going to show you how to make the other components to go with your base, so you can make the faces and then you can join them together. So I'm just zooming out, and once I've zoomed out, I'm going to pick my rectangle tool. I'll draw a new rectangle over here. Keep it blue so it's on the same plane, and I want it to be 80 by 80. I want my side to be 80 and it to be 80 wide as well. So I've got to get my tape measure, and I want to get rid of this bit off my side, so I need to click my endpoint and go along to tell it to snap next there, 30 millimeters, make a mark, take my rectangle. I want to go from that guide point over to this side here. I want that to be 30 by 5, center. And then I want to do the same at the other side, so I'm going to pick my measuring tape. I'm going to go along and go to 30. I want it to snap like that, it's kind of annoying. 30. And then I want to go from there, and I want to go back to here. And I want to do 30 by 5. And I've got this shape happening, so I want to use my eraser tool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I want to delete that line. I want to delete that line. I want to delete that line. I want to delete that line now. So it looks like that bit now is going to start to fit in there, which is good. Okay, so the next bit that I'm going to need to do, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and then I'll come down to here and get my hand, which is pan. Just grab and move the screen so I can look at that. It's a bit better in the middle. Okay, so I want to put my joints on the side now. So this one's going to have the bits, the finger joints cut out. So I'm going to get my tape measure. And I'm just going to check how long this side is, 75. So if I'm going to just put it in the middle, so I'm just going to go, you've got measurements to use on yours, but I'm just going to put mine in the middle for ease. So I'm going to go up 25 and make a mark. I'm going to pick my rectangle tool, go to my guide point, and make a joint that's 25 by 5, so 25, 5. So, and get my measuring tape again. I'm going to go from this corner this time down, 25, find a point I want it to be, click, get my rectangle, go over to my guide point, 25, click anywhere you want, 25 by 5, enter. I've got this bit, and whip over to my eraser, get rid of that line there, get rid of that line there, and then I'm going to extrude it up. Thickness that I want, 5 millimeters, it says, well, 6, I'll go type 5 for center. There we go. Now I'm going to pick this shape again, so click on it 3 times, all highlights blue. I'm going to make it a different colour, so I click on my paint pot here, the paint pot, come over, I've got this swatch, so I'm going to make this one be red, so click red, come over, if I hold control it will change the colour of the whole thing, otherwise it will just do one face, so hold control and click, and there it is, it's all red. And then if I click here on components, I can see they've got that. Come on, what's going on? Components, go home. Oh, okay. So let's go back on the arrow. Right click on here. Let's make this a component. Let's call this a front / back face. Press OK. And I've got my base. Okay. So what else I need to do now is make my other piece that's going to go on this side here, which will have a joint there and then 2 sticking out joints for here and here. So I've got to work out how to do that. But you should have your drawing with measurements on that should make that easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and use the pen tool again. I'm going to move it over to the side. I'm just going to collapse this by pressing this arrow up here. Draw a new rectangle, which doesn't really matter. I'll draw this way because I think I'm getting away otherwise. Let go, make it for this again along here. So I think it was 30 along here. Mark. I want to do both at the same time. So I measure from this corner along 30. 29, 31, 30. There we go. Make a mark. Get a rectangle. Move from that guide point to here. I want that to be 30,5 for fitness. And we go from that one to that side there to the edge. I want that to be 30,5. Enter. I could get my eraser tool. Just erase these lines. Bam, bam. Dragging over, remember, clicking. And I've got this section set up now. Now here I need to take away these pieces, which is 25 from that point to that point. So ruler, take measure of it, ruler. I go from there, measure along, I'll get to 25, click. And I go from there, from that guide point to this edge, click on 25, 5. Take measure. I'll get from that point down 25. Click. Give me a nice long line across the whole thing, which is my midpoint angle. Let me just undo that measuring line. I'm happy with that. Pick my measuring tool again. Go from here along until I get to 25, 28. 25's there. Make a little mark. I think it's because I'm on the midpoint. That's right, I'll click on that midpoint. It's halfway down, it's 25, so it's okay. Click on the edge, and then I want 25,5, enter. I'm going to pick my eraser tool now. I'm going to erase there, erase there, erase there, erase there. Okay, use my pen tool again. And then get my tape measure. From there, look for 25, make a mark. Draw a rectangle from the 25 to the edge. 25,5. Enter. Tape measure again. I'm going to go from there to 25, which should be the midpoint. Yeah, good. Midpoint's giving me a big long straight line now. I know what I'm doing. Midpoint to the edge. 25,5. Enter. My rubber. Raise that line, that line, that line, and that line. And then I want to go push pull. And I want to bring this face up 5 millimeters. I'm just going to let go and press 5, enter. Okay, pick my arrow, click on it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to fill it a different colour first before doing anything else. So I'll just make this one pretty boring colours at the minute. Just choose that, hold control, click on that. Make it this peachy colour. And one last thing to do is right click on it and make it a component, and I'll just call this the left/right. Press enter. Don't worry about anything else. Right, so I've got my 3 components now, which is what I want. Now I've got to obviously attach those to the base and rotate them round. So the trickiest part, I would say now. So you've got to come over to the move section, and you want to pick on rotate, and it gives you a protractor. And I want it to rotate from that end to come up. So if I pick this side face, I'll pick the midpoint of there, click, and then it gives you a line. Just click somewhere else, and you can start to drag it around. You see at the bottom where the measurements are now, I've got angle, so I can just type 90, press enter, and it'll put it up for me perfectly at 90. And come back over to here and click where it says rotate and click on move. And pick a corner. I'm going to pick this corner, just move it over. Just going to put it in the proximity of the base for a minute. Okay. And I'm going to get my orbiting tool out and move myself around so I can see. Okay, so I'm going to try and get that in the right place. I'm going to click back on the move. I'm going to pick this bottom corner here because I know I can line that up with the joint in the base. So if I click that point, move it up, I want that to join right on that corner of the base, of the joint of the base there. Click and let go. And then click on my arrow tool just so I can deselect it. Now if I use my orbit tool, I can start to see that. Zoom out a little bit, I can start to see that's in place. Okay, now I want another one of those, so I'm going to click it. I go Control C, Control V for copy. And I get another one that I can move. Okay, and I'm just going to, gives me the extremes, so I'm going to move that point to the end point there, get it in place, and just click, let go, click on my arrow tool, click off. I can see that those two look good now, they're in place. I'll move around a bit with the orbit tool. And now I'm going to move my front and back face into place. So back over to it, it says move, click. I want to rotate. I'll rotate it on this face. Click on the face you want. And just click away somewhere. I would click down here. Click down here. And then I can start to spin it around however I want. I'm just going to type 9, let go and just type 90. And then come across and pick my move tool. Pick a corner. Just move it somewhere a bit nearer over here, somewhere like that. Click, let go. Move yourself around so you can see what you're doing. And then pick a corner. I pick that corner, and I know that corner wants to go with the corner of the base. Click. It's in place. I'll spin around. Use the orbit tool. Push the wheel in on your mouse if you've got one. And then I want to move that one. Another copy of that one there. So pick the arrow tool. Click on that. It'll highlight in blue. Control C. Control V for paste. Just move your arrow and it'll appear. And you've got to get it in the right place. So it's picking right at the corner at the moment for me. So I know it needs to go somewhere around here. It's not quite right. So again, just going to click it, let go of it. Click, so I'm free to pick my new selection point. Get my orbit around so I'm in a place where I can see what I'm doing. I pick that bottom corner, attach that bottom corner to the base like so. And click. I'll click the arrow tool, and then should have a box all put together. Simple as that. And look around at the bottom, and that looks like it's all together pretty good for me. So all these little dots that you can see are all of my measuring lines and guidelines I make. You can draw little squares and delete them if you want. So just highlight them with the arrow tool. Delete them away if you wish. If they're not bugging you, you can leave them there, doesn't matter. Just get rid of them. One last thing we've got to do now is put the dimensions of our box on. So we could do that over where the tape measure is. If we click on it, the second one down is called dimensions. We click that, and this gives us a dot, and we can come across and click on points. So if I want to know let's see how deep this box is, so from there to there. So I click on that point, click on the other point that I want, and then just move the arrow away. There you go, it tells me it's 80 millimeters that way. And then if I go, let's see how wide is it from there to there. Come down 80 millimeters. And I need to know how tall it is, don't I? I want to know how tall my box is. So that corner to that corner, come away. 80 millimeters, perfect. How thick's the material that I've used? That point to that point, bring it out. 5 mil, makes sense. How tall am I? What's the dimensions of my joint? 25 millimeters. What's the distance from there to there? Oh, 25 millimeters as well, good. What's the width of this face here? So 70mm there, obviously 80mm is its widest point, and that gives us plenty of measurements. You can put as many as you like on. I might just go and get one more measurement, shall I? I'll get the measurement of the base joint because that's different, isn't it? It's 20mm. There we go. For the bottom joints as well. So then you've got your sketch dimensions all on there. Click off. Something's frozen there, giving me an endpoint. Click off, and then one last thing to do is click on up here, and you can go to download. Click on there, go to download, and pick PNG, and then you can export it as a picture, and then you can put that picture into your slideshow, and you've got a perfect model of the Lego cube box that you have modeled here in SketchUp. Enjoy.